I'm from Nekota and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Ken Godler and I'm from Australia, but I'm part Fijian from Watraki, and I love listening to Today FM Rocks.
For the best music and less talk, we tune into Today FM in National Village. Today FM rocks.
My name is Inai Ali and I'm from Ba, and I love the big breakfast on Today FM. I just love it and hope you love it too.
My name is Jay from La Paz. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Naushin and I'm from Sambeto, and I love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate. This is FBC News. Tonight, digital TV makes room for more local content. Social media information puts children at risk. And new guidelines for health ministry recruitment. Trials on digital TV have begun in the Lami Nausori corridor. This marks the beginning of a new era of television that makes high-quality TV services an everyday affair. Edwin Nund reports.
The set-top boxes needed to access digital TV are now on sale at selected retail outlets. Speaking on the For the Record program last night, Communications Minister Aya Syed Qayyum has called for more local programming.
The channels being increased will give more opportunities for television companies to do that. I know it can be costly, but the fact of the matter is that we're encouraging people to do that. And we hope to, in the future, with the new television licenses being given, have a lot more enforcement on local content percentage as shown, within television companies. I think it's important to do that.
The trials will run for the next few months, with the West and North likely to come online by December. The government is encouraging TV companies to introduce material which make a positive impact on the lives of Fijians.
We can actually have the opportunity to put a lot of educational programs on. It's not just a formal education curriculum that we can have on, because you've got more free-to-air channels, more public service broadcasting opportunities, which your company does at the moment. But also we could have programs, for example, showing farmers how to plant things, when to plant things, how to put in the seeds, a lot more educational programs.
Families facing financial difficulties won't have to pay for the set-top boxes. The Walesi office in Suva, which regulates digital TV, has the relevant application forms for people seeking exemptions. Edwin Nund, FBC News.
Parents are putting the privacy and safety of children at risk by sharing information on social media. A child rights organization claims parents are running the risk of oversharing and creating a digital footprint for their children who have no control over which can bring them trouble. Shireen Sivan reports.
Each day, parents share images and information about their children online, not knowing its consequences.
Perpetrators out there who are looking for any opportunity to take. And so we just have to be vigilant about how we use our children's picture, or what type of photos that we can put up of our children.
Law Mackenzie says times have changed and people can manipulate these images and harm the dignity of a child. Recently, inappropriate pictures and videos involving children have been shared by some parents on Facebook.
It can affect them psychologically. So if, especially if later on in the years they find out that, their picture, their naked picture has been put on social media or in the public, how would you feel if that happened to you? So you think of the same way that a child would feel.
Minister for Women and Children Rosie Akbar says parents need to ensure that children are given the holistic care. However, some parents are doing the opposite. She says it is against the law to circulate pictures of children who are under the age of 18. Sharin Shivan, FBC News.
The Ministry of Health and Medical Services is currently instituting its civil service reforms. Minister for Health and Medical Services Choneo Sumate says they have put in place new open recruitment and selection guidelines that will improve the delivery of health services required. Sainiani Boila has more.
The Health Ministry's new criteria of selection aims to choose the best to care for the health of all Fiji citizens.
In the ministry, we have instituted the open merit open merit recruitment. That means that only the people that we appoint into our positions are the ones that are seen to have the competencies for the job. We're not choosing on any other process. That means that we will get a better caliber of workers in the Ministry of Health.
Usamati says they expect every single worker to abide by the values of the ministry.
We expect that every single worker in the Ministry of Health and Medical Services will abide by the values of this ministry. And those values are: make sure that we have equity, we treat everybody equally, we have respect for human dignity, they must always show that, they are responsive to customers, they have integrity, and what's the other one? They have a strong customer focus.
Usamati says this will guarantee the government's vision of caring and compassionate civil service and the best for all Fijians. He adds he will ensure that new recruits will be the right agents of change in the health sector. Sainia Nimboila, FBC News.
Acting Prime Minister Aya Said Qayyum says there needs to be more flexibility for small Pacific Island countries to access the Green Climate Fund. Said Qayyum made the statement while speaking at the opening of the Green Climate Fund Regional Workshop in Suva today. Ali Kimbia has the details.
Civil society.
Acting Prime Minister Aya Said Qayyum is calling various Pacific leaders to thoroughly discuss ways in which the Green Climate Fund can be made more accessible to small Pacific Island countries.
To have measurements such as GNI to determine your accessibility to funding is perhaps very narrow focus. So I hope that this meeting also is able to discuss other what may be called ancillary determinants.
Said Qayyum says civil servants around the Pacific need to have the knowledge of how to access these funds, as it is vital for fighting against the pressing issue of climate change.
The lack of capacity within the Pacific Island countries, civil service, the various agencies that exist within the Pacific Island countries, the capacity to be able to understand and also to access funds that are available.
GCF Board Co-Chair Ewan McDonald says there is a greater need for more awareness on how various countries can benefit.
I think there was also a challenge thrown out to us to reduce complexity around that. I think that's a very valid point that you also raised as well.
The Green Climate Fund is a mechanism to assist developing countries adapt and mitigate against climate change. It supports projects, programs, policies and other activities in developing countries and intends $200 billion a year by 2020. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The Director of Public Prosecution's Office charged 24 people with 45 separate serious sexual offences last month. 35 of the offences were rape, 3 were attempted rape, and the other 7 cases were sexual assault. 3 of the accused are under the age of 18, while 13 of the victims were under the age of 18. In one incident, a 56-year-old man is alleged to have raped his 10-year-old granddaughter. Still to come on FBC News, Tourism Excellence Awards to recognise frontline staff. And FNU welcomes new Vice Chancellor. Stay with us.
Total tena bale buna bingora buna Bull FM baltendo totoga bauti na lenru ndotara so na bishere so me bauti na tu na binga lili ena lo muni burobo
ni mbula oyo na dango Luisa Marau o maramani komo o bakasto chingo na Suba Handicraft Center ondo warorongo na Bull FM number 2 na sere
Bull FM number 2 na sere.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Hotels and resort operators are being encouraged to nominate young leaders in their organisation for awards in recognition of their hard work and contribution to tourism. This was announced at the launch of the ANZ Fiji Excellence in Tourism Awards in Nadi this morning. Ellen Stahls has the story.
Public Relations Department.
Chairman of the Board of Trustees James Sowane said the new category, titled Emerging Tourism Leader, is aimed at encouraging young people in the industry. Companies are now being asked to nominate young people in their organisation below the age of 35 for the award.
We're really reaching out to companies to recognize their young emerging leaders, because for some of us, we only have limited time and we move on, so we need to have the continued leadership structure within our industry. Too often, tourism is not seen as a career path for Fijians, and I think for those of us who have been in the industry long enough, tourism is a viable career for many young talents here in Fiji.
At the official launch in Nadi today, Minister for Tourism Faiz Koya said the government fully supports such initiatives.
We have some wonderful young emerging leaders within the industry, and they really do need to be recognized. And the young people in our country are basically pushing this country forward as much as government does. They're very committed to what they do, they're passionate about what they do, especially in the tourism industry. So this is another reason why it's very important.
There are 13 categories this year designed to cover all aspects of the tourism industry. Applications for the prestigious awards are now open until the 14th of October. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
Fiji National University will take a look at all their top programs and see how productive they were in terms of graduates, employment rates and the number of applications received. According to the new FNU Vice-Chancellor, Professor Nigel Healy, it's important to have programs aligned with the needs of the economy. Savarit Tamboa has more.
FNU will examine top programs such as business, medical, engineering and others. New Vice-Chancellor Professor Nigel Healy says this is to make sure the university provides the kind of transformation experience that prepares good students for the job market.
If there are areas in which we can see we're not currently meeting demand, or there is potential demand that we're not meeting, we'll innovate in those areas. If there are areas we need to strengthen, we'll invest in those. If there are areas that clearly are not performing and not needed, we may need to consider.
Healy also highlighted plans discussed with USP for the two institutions to explore areas of common interest.
In either benchmarking or sharing resource or working more cooperatively. So I don't see this as just about competing for market share. There are areas where we're quite separate and quite distinct, and there are areas where we actually can cooperate.
Professor Healy has spent more than 30 years as an academic. He was accorded a Fijian traditional ceremony at the FNU campus in Sinu today as he assumed his post as the new Vice-Chancellor of Fiji National University. Savarit Tamboa, FBC News.
Working towards excellence is the goal of the Fiji National Provident Fund, now celebrating their 50th anniversary. Rachel Nath has more.
The Fiji National Provident Fund has come a long way as it reflects on its growth over the past half-century.
Actually, a milestone event for Fiji and for FNPF and also for the members to come all this far. It's also an opportunity for the fund to look at itself. What can we do better for our members?
The celebration started today when the FNPF team visited 6 senior citizen homes to serve them breakfast and lunch. The FNPF started out as an institution for retirement saving funds. However, over the years, it has evolved into providing other services such as pension and pre-retirement financial assistance.
With $30,000, today FNPF is over $5 billion institution, which belongs to the members. And we would like to take this opportunity to thank those that have worked here before, the board, the staff, the executives that have helped build up these great institutions.
The Fiji National Provident Fund's 50th anniversary celebrations will carry out over a 3-month period for key stakeholders and all its members. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
High Court Judge Justice Alesi Temo has overturned the assessor's verdict of guilty of manslaughter in the case of a man charged with the murder of his wife in Kandavu 2 years ago. Justice Temo instead found him guilty of murder. 43-year-old Sitiveni Vasu Turanga was charged in the death of his wife and mother-in-law in Kandavu in August of 2014. He originally faced 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. However, the assessors found him not guilty of murder and convicted him of the lesser charge of manslaughter. Justice Temo, disagreed and rolled back the manslaughter charge for a verdict of guilty of murder. Vasuturanga will be sentenced on Friday. On to world news. Republican presidential nominee for the United States, Donald Trump, is under fire again, this time for comments about the parents of a slain Muslim American soldier. Trump's response to their speech at the Democratic convention is raising fresh criticism after it appeared he insulted their faith. This report from TVNZ.
Rising anger over Donald Trump's response to a Muslim family whose son paid the ultimate sacrifice. The father of a U.S. soldier killed in Iraq accused Trump of having a black soul for telling George Stephanopoulos he's made sacrifices comparable to his son's.
I've created thousands and thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs, built great structures. I've had tremendous success. I think I've done a lot.
Sacrifices?
Oh, sure, I think they're sacrifices.
Defending himself after this emotional moment at the Democratic National Convention.
You have sacrificed nothing and no one.
Trump also called out the soldier's mother, who stood by silently as her husband spoke.
If you look at his wife, she was standing there. She had nothing to say. Maybe she wasn't allowed to have anything to say.
I was in the pain. If you are in the pain, you fight or you don't say anything.
He is a black soul, and this is totally unfit for the leadership of this beautiful country.
Today, Trump tweeted, "I was viciously attacked by Mr. Khan. Am I not allowed to respond?" He called Khan's son a hero, but insisted this is about radical Islamic terror and the weaknesses of our leaders to eradicate it.
He is temperamentally unfit and unqualified to be president of the United States. Latest attacks on the Khan family just reinforces the doubts that any American should have.
We turn to sports now. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. Coming up in sports, Vodafone Cup launched for seniors. And Team Australia fall victims to theft in Rio. Details after the break.
Bula, I'm Dori from Nasinu Market. My choice is simple, Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
My name is Yvonne. I'm from Nandi. I love Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Sayandra, my name is Sunny. Only the Gold FM at Golden Point Resort, Rakiraki.
Hi, I'm Anna of Nasinu. When it comes to a radio, my choice is always Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
My name is Anna and I'm from Nandi. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
The 7 teams competing for this year's Vodafone Rugby Trophy have been given a boost that's sure to aid preparations for the competition. Today's sponsors, Vodafone, presented each team with rugby balls, uniforms and $4,000. Meli Tavanga reports.
The team includes Mba Rewa Naita Siri, Serua Nawosa, the Konrove and Nukloa. FRU CEO John O'Connor hopes this competition will set the stage for the future.
Hope that the competition will set the platform for the new format of competition next year, with the new proposed format, and I know the start of this competition will set them a good platform to prepare so that they can be competitive come the new competition next year.
Despite the major disaster that affected our nation early this year, teams from hard-hit areas did not back out in the competition.
Psychologically, the boys have been affected, but physically they're trying their best in terms of training, and with Vodafone support and sponsorship also, I think it will really boost the morale of the players.
The winner of this competition will automatically qualify for the upcoming HFC Bank Fairbrother Challenge. The Vodafone Rugby Trophy competition kicks off this Saturday. Meli Tawanga, FBC Sports.
The revival of boxing in Fiji continues to progress at a steady rate. With regular competitions recently, it seems all parties involved hope to move the sport forward as quickly as possible. One such group being the Western Amateur Boxing Association, who have 40 bouts lined up for its event this weekend. Meli Tawanga again with more.
The big pool of boxers is expected to draw a huge crowd. Organizers are excited about the opportunities that lie ahead for these fighters.
We'll have the medical weigh-in at the daytime. It starts at 8 to 10 o'clock. And we would also like to thank some of our supporters who has been supporting us for this fight. This is the first time ever we're going to have the certificate for the Western amateur boxing fighters. And the certificates had been sponsored by Mr. Ben Krishna. I think he's the director of the Kiran Palace, and we'll be having certificates.
The Amateur Boxing Association is also trying to expand the sport in Fiji.
And as I've said before, we are very much thankful to the president, Mr. Manasa Baravilala, who's doing a great job, and he's trying to develop the amateur boxing in the country, like in the Western Division, and he's doing it in the Central and Northern. I think he has plans to do the same thing in Northern Division, like we are doing the promotion in the Western Division of Fiji.
Meanwhile, 40 boxers will take part in the Western Boxing Rumble in Singatoka this Saturday. Meli Tavanga, FBC Sports.
The Australian Olympics team is in strife again after having a number of athletes' items, including team uniforms, stolen from the Games village. Finally, in sports tonight, he may be preparing for the Rio Olympics with the New Zealand Sevens team, but Sonny Bill Williams has been named in the 32-member All Black squad for the Rugby Championships. The Rugby Championship begins on August 20th with the All Blacks taking on the Wallabies in Sydney. That was sports for this evening. Business is up next with Jackie.
Most of the hotels and resorts in Fiji damaged by Tropical Cyclone Winston are now again fully operational. This was confirmed by Minister for Tourism Fayaz Koya, who says the government is doing all it can to ensure these operations are up and running. The minister says the few that remain closed are those drastically damaged by the storm and those awaiting water or electricity to be restored. Koya adds the government is fully aware of how crucial the tourism industry is and has done its fair share to help the industry get back on its feet. The total earnings from the first quarter of this year are recorded at $340.9 million, a 9.7% increase over last year. A wet start to the week with Monday seeing rain over most places. Suva, Nadi, Lautoka and Savu were the coolest at 26 degrees. Bar trailed on 27 degrees, whereas Lambasa recorded the highest temperature at 31 degrees. For tomorrow, occasional showers, heavy at times over most places. Showers easing and clearing from the west late in the day. And looking further ahead to Wednesday, wet conditions are likely to continue. The eastern parts of the country is expected to have few showers, while the north can expect heavier falls. At sea, east to southeast winds gusting up from 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. Recapping the main stories for tonight, trials on digital TV have begun in the Lami Nausori corridor. Social media information puts children at risk, and new guidelines for health ministry recruitment. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Results from last week's poll question we had asked: can any other sports apart from rugby sevens win an Olympic medal? 51% answered yes. This week we are asking, should Ben Ryan be given Fijian citizenship? To answer, visit our FBC website. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Good night.
मैं हूँ रेहान खान गुरबो तालेबू के जैसे फेस्टिवल एग्रेट है गुरबो में उसी तरह मिर्ची FM नंबर 1 है गुरबो में
एलिन लटका में मिर्ची FM को लॉक कर दिया जाए मिर्ची FM इट्स हॉट
हम नकाशी से सामान है हमारा फेस्टिवल जैसे नंबर 1 है वैसे मिर्ची FM नंबर 1 है
माय नेम इज दिनेश हम नैंडी में काम करता है स्लीपिंग जायंट जिपलाइन में और मिर्ची FM इज हॉट आई लाइक इट
मिर्ची FM इट्स हॉट